Hey, welcome back to another episode of DIY Family. I'm Eric. Today, our quest, lard, pig fat. What do you do with it? You get all the, we buy a hog every year. So we get really good pasture-raised hogs that grow. They plant crops for the hogs. They live in the woods. They are the best pork you've ever had. And I don't mean that lightly, like it's the best pork I've ever had. And so we have all this beautiful fat off of the pig that comes from the back and the leaf lard and all that stuff. So what do you do with it? Because actually when you get really good fat off of a good pasture-raised hog, not something that's been grown for most of the stuff you'd buy in the store, is raised on grains, which actually is bad for you. But when you get something that's been raised pasture-raised, this fat actually has a ton of good stuff in it that you want. And so how do we get this out? We make lard out of it. So the steps today that we're gonna do, first of all, you have to cut it up, which we've started. And we have like 3 more bags of this on the other side. And I'm debating if I should go downstairs and get my big grinder out and just grind it, because it would make short work of it. And the smaller you break it down, the easier the fat can render out of it. The problem is cleaning the grinder and getting a big heavy grinder out of the crawl space and upstairs just to grind for 5 minutes. I'm not convincing myself. I might just spend an hour with knife work, we'll see. But you want it, the smaller pieces you get, the better, because they will render out more. So we are going to cut our lard up, or our fat up, into just strips, chunks. The smaller the better. If there's any meat on it or any of that stuff, because there is going to be in some of it, just leave it. That will actually cook out. And some of it, after a while, kind of gets nice and crispy, and it kind of tastes good. Some of it doesn't, just kind of depends on what it is. So, and then I kind of just come through and chop it up. So what we're doing is we have our oven preheating, and once this is all cut up, we're gonna put some water in this big pan, and we're gonna put it in the oven at like 300 degrees, and it's gonna sit for hours and hours and hours. And we just keep stirring it, and it just makes this liquid gold. It actually kind of looks colored like gold, and it'll just, all that good fat renders out, and then you can strain it and scoop it up and bottle it, and we'll show you how that works. Well, I gave in, got the grinder. It's working way better. So your bigger pieces, stuff like this, they won't fit through your grinder. You gotta cut them up. So I like to cut them into little strips, because then the agitator in there, the auger, can actually grind them and pull them through. But here's the thing. If you have one of those, we've had small little grinders that, like, most people see, like you get at Walmart or whatever. They work really good for lean meat and stuff, but fat, especially pork fat, is really kind of stringy and greasy, and it can be quite hard to get through there, and you can plug them up. This is the Cabela's Carnivore series. This is the 3/4 horsepower. This thing is an absolute beast, and it doesn't even bog down with this stuff. So if you want to see my review on this, I did a video on it, and we'll put a link in the description. But it is absolutely a game changer. It has the foot pedal and everything. There it comes out there. Oh, that piece has to be cut down. So all the trimmings that come off of this stuff are, like, this is kind of the gross stuff. Saving this because we have a turtle, a snapping turtle, that has killed one duck and bitten the toes off of another one. So this is going to turn into turtle bait, so we can hopefully get the stupid turtles out of our pond and our ducks can go back in there. Another video, another time, check it out. And then all the other little scraps, chickens. Now we have to add a little bit of water. We've gotten it ground up, it's all ground. We need to add some water to kind of get the thing, the process started. And so you can do it fancy. I just add some water to get some water into the bottom so it doesn't burn to the bottom. And it kind of starts the breakdown process. Now all the water will evaporate off as it cooks, so you don't have to worry about it. And then into the oven. No cover. Put it in. Let it roll. And then just stir it up every hour, go in there and stir it around. And it'll eventually start to melt, and like just the chunks and the gristle and the solids will actually kind of start to float up in there, and then you kind of just break up those chunks and the fat just renders out. It's pretty cool. Oh, it's starting to go. Look at that. That is melting really well, actually. Holy cow. Just get down into the stuff that's not, but all of that liquid in there, when you put that into a cup, that is going to, or when we put it in jars, that's just going to solidify and be white lard. Oh my goodness, it's like almost running over. Holy cow, this thing slides pretty good until you need it to slide really still, you know. So here we are done cooking it down. It cooked at like 250 degrees in the oven for lots of hours, probably 7 or 8 hours. And it cooked down, and it basically, you get your fats that cook out, and then you have all the solids. And so now we're just straining the fats through, and all that's left is that. This stuff, we could try to cook it and make it into like Crispies, but it's gonna be great food for the chickens. So that is our jars. That will just, as it sits and cools down, it will just turn white, and it will be perfect lard, and healthy and tasty because it's from pasture-raised hogs. That's the key. So if you ever want to try it, try it. I have family members that are very excited. My grandmother especially. Talked to her and she's like, I haven't had fresh lard for years. And so she's very excited to get some. So we're gonna get some to everybody. They're gonna try it, and nothing goes to waste.